Gospel Podcast with Jacob and Brandy Gospel. And today we're going to be talking about waiting. Waiting. So, how many of you love to wait? Raise your hand. None of us.
I'm probably not a good waiter.
No.
I'm not really good at waiting.
Waiting really sucks, man. So, we always talk about, and in fact, we were just talking about it a few minutes ago, where in business, like we want to start a business, we want to invest in a product, we want to, and people hire me to do the sales coaching, like they want the return right away. Like they want to leave my office and go and really.
They want the results.
I mean, they want 100% of the results immediately. And although they can,
gratification.
Yeah, although they can make the changes and see results right away, they're not going to get the 10-year result right away. Right. It takes time.
Yeah.
So we were kind of talking about last night with our middle daughter, and I don't even know how we got caught on the subject.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that came up. She was talking about growing up and being on her own when she gets older and being independent and living on her own. And she said that she was really looking forward to that. And somehow we got from her being independent, living on her own, to being married. And I think it was because you told her that it's better for her to know how to be on her own and complete in herself before she goes and marries someone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we got on the subject of waiting, and we were talking about her waiting for God to send her the perfect person for her, the man that God has waiting for her.
Yeah, because she talked about breaking generational curses. She was the one who was going to break it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, really.
That really was.
Like inspiring for me as a dad to see that, because
from the 14-year-old,
she's 14 and she's talking about she's going to be the one to break a generational curse.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Yeah.
And
it really was.
And I think like in that, that same conversation, like she wanted to be complete to where, when she marries somebody, she was okay waiting, for that person, because she wants the godly person. She wants the man that God wants her to be with.
Right.
And she's okay waiting for that. And we were talking about like the mistakes that we made. I mean, we both been married before.
Right.
Obviously, we were both divorced.
Right.
So we married the wrong people.
And we were not the right people when we married the first time.
Exactly.
Either.
Exactly.
We were not complete.
And our spouses weren't either.
Our spouses weren't either. And so bringing it together.
He completes me. She completes me. And that's like, okay.
God completes.
Right. Like there's like, okay, so now there was two of y'all together. So now y'all one. And not in the sense of God, like this person completes me. That makes zero sense. That's not what I want. Like you compliment me. Yeah. I don't need you, and you don't need me. Mm-hmm. But it was the inspiration from her that, how did I tell that to her? Like I would prefer her to wait till she's 35, like not to put an age on it. But instead of getting married at 20 or 19, I was 19, and settling for that person because you think, I can't get better than that, instead of waiting. Because like people got married younger when we were young, so instead of waiting till 40, 45, it didn't matter. Yeah. Whatever
the age is.
There's no time in God's will for you. It's what God's will is. Yeah. Whatever and whenever he wants.
Right.
So when you wait on that, even though you think it might be painful, and it sucks, I'm single, blah, blah, blah. The pain of marrying the wrong person
is worse. It's way worse.
Right. And because divorces suck. And like I told Claire, I said, the divorce sucks, but it doesn't suck near as bad as living with that person before the divorce. Like that's the terrible part.
That's pretty bad too. That's right.
And I mean, like in my case, it was a rough marriage. Like, I mean, it was, in your case, it wasn't the physical stuff, but it was rough.
Yeah, it was rough.
You know, so it was something that we should have never even been in.
Right, because neither one of us knew how to be the spouse that we are supposed to be, that God wanted us to be, nor were our spouses. So together, you know, we weren't ready.
It was
we
never going
It
to
was
work.
not right. That's right. It wasn't who God wanted us to be.
It was set up to fail.
Exactly right. And what we were explaining to Claire is that sometimes God wants us to wait for whatever reason. He has the plan, right? And the important thing is to focus on is what we do while we wait, right? That's the important thing, because sometimes the answer is not right now. You know, you may be praying for something and his answer is not yet.
Yeah.
And so we have to then turn our focus to what we do while we wait. And so when we were, you know, talking to Claire about it yesterday, I told her when the time is going to come, when she's older and she's going to start, you know, looking for that perfect spouse that God's going to send her. Not that he's going to be perfect, but perfect for her. She needs to worry more about being the right person than finding the right person. Because God already has somebody in mind for her. She needs to focus on being the right person. She needs to be the woman of God that she's supposed to be in order to accept the man that God's going to send her. So she needs to focus on herself, and she needs to focus on growing and being better and being independent and being able to take care of herself and putting her faith in God and all those things. And then once God thinks she's ready, then he'll send her the man that she is looking for.
Yeah, that's good, because like there's so many times, you know, we have friends that have been through this, and I mean we see people all the time that do that. They're like, well, when I'm gonna change when God sends me the person, you know, I'll stop, you know,
partying
or whatever it is, when God sends me that person.
I'll settle down when the right person shows up.
And it's like God wants you to settle down and be where you want to be. Start doing that now, and then he'll fulfill that dream.
Yeah.
And it's the same in business, is the same in parenting, is the same in, like, as a husband. Like, I can't be like, okay, I'm gonna stop lying to my wife when, you know, she stops doing this to me.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be whatever I want out of you. Like, I have to be. You know, if I want you to be honest with me, then I have to be honest. You know, I can't wait for you to do that.
Yeah.
And then I have to wait. You know, because like I can't make you do anything, and you can't make me do anything. So if you want me to be a certain way, you have to be a certain way. Then you have to, in turn, you treat me a certain way, which I'm not acting or nor do I deserve.
Yeah.
And you have to wait for me to see that and make a change and get better. And in business is the same thing. Like, I mean, in every area of life is the same thing. Like, you have to be the person that what you want. You know?
Yep.
It's like I want this big house, I want all this stuff, and people ask the question all the time. It's like, you know, what do I have to do to get that stuff? And it's never that. It's always, who do I need to be?
Who do I need to be? Yes. Yes.
You know, because that person can acquire that stuff.
That's right. Yeah. It's not what do you want to have or what do you want to get. It's who do I need to be? Who do I want to be? Who does God want me to be?
Yeah.
And that's more of the focus. And so, you know, yes, instant gratification, it's what everybody would love to have, but
it's so shallow.
It really
doesn't last.
It's not going to last. If it comes easy, chances are it's probably not going to last. And sometimes we just have to wait. And that's where the learning comes in. That's where the growing comes in, is in the wait.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it really does suck. Sometimes it seems like the wait is going to take forever, and you're going to be stuck in this season forever. But God has a plan. We can't know his timetable, his schedule. We just have to trust it.
Like, what's stupid? It's like, so I think about it this way. I married my first wife at 19 years old.
That's a baby.
Yeah. So stupid.
That's a baby.
God, I was so stupid. And, we were married for 10 years. And so when you think about that, I was living this life and doing all the things I shouldn't have been doing. And we ended up getting divorced, But when I flip the script and I think about it in terms of, I met you, and obviously, like, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. So
obviously,
I waited that long for you.
Yeah.
So when I look a little bit deeper into me, it's like, I changed. In those 10 years that I was married, I changed.
Right.
And I became the person that now I could be with you.
Yeah.
So when I look at it as, okay, I don't think that the 10 years was wasted, because God uses everything to good, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, obviously we're married before, and same thing, and you got two awesome kids out of it. So, which I love dearly as my own. So that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, what would have happened if I would have been the person at 30, at 20.
At 20.
I could have met you 10 years earlier.
Right.
Right. And assuming you would have been the person too,
Right.
And we have to get comfortable in the waiting, though, and that's the thing. It's like, sometimes we get so distracted in the doing that we don't want to wait.
Right.
So it's like, what can I do? And I viewed that was my 10 years of marriage. I was doing, and then I was looking for another wife, and I was doing all these other things that I wasn't supposed to be doing, and I was supposed to be building me and waiting.
You should have been focusing on Jacob.
Right.
That's right.
And it was, again, we learned from it. It was a terrible way to learn. I don't recommend that.
But that is where you get your lessons from.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is no like long-term reward in instant gratification. There just isn't.
Right. Normally it comes from the wait, and you're going to find yourself in a season of waiting at some point. We all do, Maybe you're waiting to find the right spouse, or you're waiting for your kids to get their shit together, or you're waiting for a baby. So many parents wait for babies. Whatever it is, maybe you're waiting for a new job, a new opportunity, whatever it is. Make sure while you're in the wait that you're focusing on the things that you can control, and you're focusing on yourself and being the person who gets the new job.
Yeah.
Being the person who attracts the man that you want to attract, or the woman that you want to attract. That's the only thing that's going to get you through that wait and make you be the person who's ready at the end of it.
Yeah. I think that's one of the greatest things that we could ever teach our kids. And, in fact, this morning I watched a video of Coach Robichaud, and it was about, so Coach Robichaud, for those of you who don't know, was the UL baseball coach here in Lafayette. And he passed away since, but the video that I watched, he was talking about, the thing was really about sitting the bench, and people don't know how to sit the bench, the waiting.
They don't teach them.
They don't teach them.
So, you're gonna have to sit
and the
the
way
bench.
he talks about it is, when kids are little and they go to T-ball, everybody plays, right? I mean, that's everybody plays.
Right.
Nobody wins. It's just a whatever. And then you get to rec ball, And then right before high school, so between like the young age and like what we call Little League, there's kind of really no more Little League. Everything's like select ball now.
Yeah.
They're travel
Travel
teams
ball,
and
right.
all this stuff. And I believe what that is, the whole reason that got started was they had extremely good people, extremely talented kids, and they had this awesome coach, and this coach took them kids and they played, they took 10-year-olds and probably played at a 14-year-old level, like extremely good. So then that kind of waters down each year. And I think now it got to the point where my kid's not good enough to make the team, or my kid made the team, but they have to sit the bench. And I'm daddy and I'm pissed off about it. And I don't want my kid to do that because I paid a lot of money for my kid to play. So you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to start a team and we're going to have a travel team. Now my kid's the best one on the team because now I have to go pick some other little shits to come and play with me that don't know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
And my kid's the stud, but my kid sucks because my kid would have had to sit the bench on the other team.
But they would have learned a whole lot more sitting the bench on the other team. And
In
that's
the waiting.
issue. In the waiting. They would have learned,
The parents didn't want to wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so then here's what Coach
so their
Robichaud
kid
said.
misses out on the opportunity to grow.
Right. So and here's what happens with that. And Rob said it best. He said when they get to high school, college, and single A, triple A, double A, and even the majors.
Of course.
Every single level after that, not almost, every single level, you have to sit the bench at some point.
That's right.
So what happens? They get to high school, I don't want to play no more. Because daddy let me play this whole time. Daddy never taught me how to sit the bench.
How to wait.
Never taught me how to wait. Never taught me how to work on myself in that wait.
Yep. How to keep pushing, keep working, get better in the wait.
And he was talking about this specific kid that sat the bench. I mean, sat forever and then got an opportunity to come up and do some damage. And this kid slayed it.
And he did, yeah. He was ready. He was prepared. He had worked
his ass off in the weight.
And now he was ready to go.
And that's where it happens. And that's how it happens. Like people think, he's an overnight success. No, he was working behind the scenes.
Yeah, you just didn't see it.
He was working behind the scenes. That's like when people look at us, they're like, God, y'all so different, like y'all just changed. We didn't just change. We've been changing
10 years.
Waiting, right?
Yeah.
We were waiting on the bench, sitting on the bench, waiting forever, working on us, to now the part that you see is like, I say the finished product, but
yeah, we're never finished.
The product that we took to market, basically.
Yeah.
And so now you get to see it, but God, it wasn't always like this. There was a lot of waiting in that.
Mm-hmm. For sure. We're still waiting on things, but it's okay.
100%. I think that's the glory of it.
Yeah.
It's like we get to work on us. In the wait, I get to be with you.
Yeah.
I get to smell the flowers outside. Like I get to spend time with my kids. I get to do, like when COVID happened, we had to wait a lot.
Yeah.
But that was a tremendous blessing because we got to stay home. Like we started businesses in the wait. Like all of those things, we grew so much. You wouldn't be listening to this if it wouldn't have been for the whole COVID crap.
Right.
So, anything else you want to add?
I think we got it.
Yeah. So I want to encourage you to embrace that wait.
Embrace the wait.
Grow in it. Like work on you. If you're waiting, like if you feel like something's not happening fast enough, that should be a 100% sign that you need to grow in some area. You need to get better in some area. And specifically the area that you think should be coming quicker, you're not ready. And that's your sign right there. So make sure that you look at it as what can I do to make sure that I'm growing, I'm getting better in this weight. Not perfect, just taking steps to be better.
Better, that's right.
Yeah. All right, well, this concludes the Jacob Gospel podcast with Jacob and Brandon Gospel. And make sure you like us on all the social media platforms. You could go to the website, jacobgospel.com. You can always click the button, send us an email, and see where we're at on all those places there. And of course, you could go to the Google and look us up there.
Google?
So the
Okay.
Google, yeah. go there. Anyway, we love each and every one of y'all. We'll talk to you soon. This concludes the Jacob Gospel Podcast.